There.
And then you go through. So right here, they have create. Well, you forgot to put the G. Well, it's in there. And it was supposed to be creating. So you go to hyperkey W. When you go to hyperkey W, it gives you the option.
W. At this dialog.
It gives you the option right here, ing. That's the shortcut, is G. Put G, it puts it on the word. It already knows to drop the E and add the ing. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Okay? It already knows to do it for you.
G is a shortcut. And this time I'll use the shortcut D.
So what they wanted to do was occurred. They stroked out occur, but it was supposed to be occurred. So you go into hyperkey W, select the D. It already knows to add the R-E-D because it knows the proper spelling of occurred. Does that make sense? You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. It already knows for you.
If you hit add there,
And
I guess you can add as well.
If you want to add an ending,
Yeah.
if you want to add a different ending that's not in there,
Yeah,
that's
we
what
do
that
it.
is.
We use Z for plural. We could add it there too.
And it may already be in there, you know, because it
Go down?
just shows right
Scroll
here.
down.
It's not going to let you because it's part of the tutorial.
Oh, okay.
So it's not going to let you
I
go
didn't
down,
know
but
you
it
could
could
add
be.
that. That's
Yeah.
of course, these suffixes were added with the proper spelling adjustments. Much more could be said about prefixes and suffixes. But this is the subject of a separate
Okay, and they're just kind of going through there and telling you about the different, that there's another little video or whatever.
That's when
Let's see
you
what they say about the spellings.
Let's see some of the ways that AutoMagic helps you prevent spelling errors as you work. Whirling errors as you work. Word reversals are just one of the small problems that AutoMagic understands. This question should have been, is she still working there? Pressing 5 is a fast way to reverse these words. This should have been working, but I need a different suffix. Pressing 2 here would be a fast.
Does that make sense, guys? AutoMagic already knows kind of what you may or may not be doing. So it gives you the options of changing, you know, suffixes, prefixes, you know, whatever. So sometimes it'll give you that option if it thinks it, you know, it could be one of the options. So always look in the AutoMagic keys right here because it'll give you different things of what it thinks that you may be doing. Okay?
Way to pick suffix ing. Here's another suffix problem. This should have been on the form. Yes. Pressing 3 makes that correction. And now AutoMagic sees that I may need a comma in front of yes. Pressing a comma would quickly insert the comma in the proper spot. Compound words are another problem. Sometimes it may be that two words need to be joined as one, or that one word needs to be split into two. Pressing choice 1 here corrects this unintended compound. This should have been she was outstanding in the field. A typing error occurred, and the faint underlining in red is calling that to your attention as you type. The correction is also being offered on the AutoMagic list.
Y'all understand what it's doing there? Mm-hmm. The underlined red is telling you it's not spelled correctly. It's not really a word, field. But that's what you stroked because that's what you stroked right here. It should be F-I-L-D for field, out in the field. Well, it thinks, you know what? This is one of the options. This is what I think you meant. So I'm going to give it to you as an option. This way I can give you a shortcut. You just push number 9, it puts field in there. But the underline in red means that it's not spelled correctly. It's not really a word. But that's what you stroked. So it's going to put it in there. So just in case maybe you did mean to put it in there, that's how it's going to put it in there.
Just press 9. AutoMagic also integrates type over tracking. My Steno for Technological and my Steno for Tool are very close to one another, so I tend to replace one of these words with the other. Eclipse tracks that type over, and AutoMagic offers it as a choice. If I press...
That's what we were talking about last week when you were talking about stroking incorrectly. And it's going to know, it's going to know that you've already done it that way and you've already defined it one time that way or both ways. So now it's going to give it to you as an option. Okay? Did you get that to come up?
I haven't tried it yet. I was still trying the over type thing.
Oh, the overtext, overtype, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just waiting for those words to come up again, see if I have
Okay.
that option.
7. That makes the correction. And here again, Automagic is watching for punctuation that might need to be inserted. One last correction here. Let's assume that this is not misspelled, but the reporter didn't have an alphabet that included hyphens. Pressing 3 would stitch with hyphens. Pressing 4 would actually correct the spelling. If I just go back, pressing 3 would now stitch this spelling. These are just some of the ways that Automagic takes advantage of the spelling checker and type over tracking features built into Eclipse.
Does that make sense? So say the person, they said, you know what, I'm from Lafayette, well, spell it. Well, he doesn't even know how to spell it, and he spells it incorrectly. You spell it the way that he spelled it because that's what you're there for. You're not there to correct him. You're not there to put the corrections in for him or her. You know, if that's the way they spelled it, that's the way you put it in there. But, you know, say he spelled it correctly, well, you forgot one of the T's to put in there. Automagic knows already, you know what, you misspelled it. This is the way that it's really spelled. Is this what you meant? And if it is, then it's this. But I was spelling it out, so they were spelling it out, so it needs to be stitched, and then it'll give you that option to stitch it. Okay? And this just kind of goes through and gives you, this was the answers to the little exercise that we did above. You know, like if you're going to do underestimate and stuff like that, you have to be careful of how you do your unders where it needs to be a prefix, Okay? You don't want to do it the same way that you stroke under. Mine is different because I do UND as under, and my under is 2 strokes. It's under. So, I mean, everybody does it different, but you want to make sure that you don't do that. Okay, guys, we're done. I know we covered a lot,